In Money Watch, at some summer camps, instead of finding rope courses and friendship bracelets, you'll find financial planning and networking opportunities. That's because banks are now getting into the summer camp business. It's all part of a new effort to attract the next generation of ultra-wealthy clients. Suzanne Woolley covers wealth for Bloomberg and visited one of these camps. She joins me now. Suzanne, great to have you here.
Pleasure.
So walk us through the experience of going to these camps. They're invite only, correct?
Yes, invite only to the ultra-wealthy children of their most valued clients. So these are people with at least 100 million, hundreds of millions, maybe billions.
In their own right, or they stand to gain it?
Well, they stand to gain pretty much.
Right. So these are trust fund babies.
Yeah, these are heirs to lavish fortunes from around the world.
And so what do these summer camps offer?
They're in very swanky locales, usually. The one I went to was downtown Four Seasons, very sleek. And they offer, some of it is like personal finance investing, demystifying alternative investments and understanding equities. But other parts of it are more about entrepreneurship and innovation, and also impact philanthropy. Socially responsible investing is very big with millennials. Right. And so this crowd, is a crowd that doesn't want to just write a check. They want to be involved in maybe start their own nonprofit or get involved with these sort of trendy nonprofits like Charity Water.
And which are the banks that are doing this?
The elite banks, the one I went to was with UBS. Mm-hmm. They have a Young Successors program, they call it, but also Citi Private Bank, Morgan Stanley, U.S. Bank. Most of them have some sort of program like this. They call them next-gen programs.
So a lot is at stake here for these banks, because I'd imagine as the world's wealth gets more and more concentrated among fewer and fewer hands, it's really important to these companies to sort of groom that clientele. Right?
Yes, and very much.
And it doesn't follow that the kids will necessarily want to bank with their parents' bankers.
No, it doesn't follow at all, and they're very aware of that. Mm-hmm. That's why they sort of do these, to connect with millennials, sort of get a window into how they're thinking and try to build their brand.
And what's in it for the millennials? Why would they accept the invitation?
Well, their parents might make them. Yeah. But, they also, it's great networking. Mm-hmm. On one level, they go, they have this seminar that brings in, some leading venture capitalists, leading speakers on innovation. The one I went to had, John Bon Jovi's son Jesse come in and speak about his family
cool
venture.
Factor. You've got the son of a rock star who started his own business, correct?
And actually is really a good businessman. I was very impressed with him. He's really out there marketing and distributing this rosé. But he came in to, to talk to his peers about what it was like to do that with his dad.
Now, there is a criticism that could be pointed out here that these companies are just helping the wealthy get wealthier, helping the kids of the wealthy. How would they respond to that?
I don't know. I guess they would say that, just because you're born wealthy doesn't mean you're great with money, and doesn't mean that your problems aren't legitimate problems. The problems might be like, how do I form my own nonprofit, as opposed to, what's the best way for me to give my $250 check, to my alma mater, or what? And
like you point out in your article, they're focusing on the next generation of philanthropy, correct? They want to become philanthropists who make a difference and not just write checks.
Right. And so it's sort of like, what's wrong with helping people figure out the best way to sort of give their money the most effective, targeted way? Right. It may seem a little elitist when you look at it from the outside, but this is sort of teaching people to be responsible with their money and use their money wisely in the world.
So in between the sort of concerts and wine tastings, there's seminars where you're actually getting information.
Yes.
Okay. And then some of that information, it seems, is regarding entrepreneurship, correct? A lot of these young people want to start their own companies.
Yeah, they do. And so they have a professor from NYU Stern School come talk about disruptive innovation and how to sort of go against the grain and come up with a concept like Red Bull or something like that.
And so have these events been successful for the banks?
I asked them how they define success, and it's sort of a gray area, but if the client, sort of the client's parent, the client keeps more money with the bank, maybe the bank becomes more they use 5 banks, but now they keep more money with, UBS or whomever.
Right.
Or maybe they've inspired this child, and the parents like that. Or the child now goes to the parent and says, like, you know what, I really don't understand how our family trust is organized. Can you help me learn more about it? You open up a dialogue, and that helps possibly preserve wealth, because a lot of people just don't talk about money.
It's true.
And that can lead to, you don't know how to handle it, you don't handle it responsibly.
And on the financial side, in the banking sector, are you noticing any sort of trend where banks are focusing on fewer but wealthier clientele?
Very much so. I mean, there is a sweet spot as, inequality grows and sort of has sort of compound interest on the upper tiers of wealth is just very, very powerful. And so people are really zeroing in on ultra wealthy, not just high net worth.
No. We're talking about that 0.0001%.
Not just the 1%.
No. Oh my goodness, it's so interesting. It's a little bit. It's a little scary.
Yeah.
On a certain level.
Yeah, I know it is, but it's I don't know. The programs are really smart. And I mean, I enjoyed going to them, learning about sort of like the self-driving vehicle industry and AI.
They sound really fun if you can score an invite,
Well, exactly.
You just need a couple $100 million in the bank.
Yeah, that's all.
Suzanne Woolley, thank you so much for coming to see us.
Nice to be here.